What's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are testing out the new Too Faced Sweet Peach and Fig Cream something like that matte foundation. I'm so excited. I did this look using the foundation and a bunch of nice warm shadows to give you a nice fall inspired all matte look. So I hope you guys are going to enjoy the video, and let's just jump in. Okay, so I'm going to be testing out the new Too Faced Peach Perfect foundation. This is a comfort matte foundation infused with peach and sweet fig cream. It's transfer resistant with medium coverage. It says it's 14-hour wear, oil-free, oil-controlling, photo-friendly, and shine-free. So I'm really excited to try this because I've been looking for a really good higher-end matte foundation. So I picked this up in the shade Warm Nude. It looks like it's supposed to have some type of like an olive undertone, which is pretty much what I need because I have an olive skin base. Although I did swatch it earlier and it did seem to be a little bit more on the neutral side. It doesn't really say what the undertones are supposed to be. So if you're looking for the undertones, I would try on the Sephora website and stuff like that and read the information. So because this is a comfort matte foundation, I wanted to apply a dewy primer to my skin because my skin will get really matte really quickly, and that sometimes is just too matte and makes my skin look really dry. And I'm also dealing with a couple of breakouts. I went to a wedding on Friday and had to wear a foundation for like literally 100 hours, so that's why I'm breaking out, but they are slowly healing. I have a couple. My skin's a little red because I did do a face mask, which I will talk about in my skincare video because it's absolutely sensational. But let's just try this foundation out. So I'm just gonna take one pump. I'm gonna do side with the brush and then one side with the beauty blender just to see what I like better. I'm just gonna do a pump right onto the back of my hand. So this is what it looks like. It looks like it's gonna match me right now, but it does also look like it's going to oxidize. So I'm going to take my beauty blender and I'm going to start on this side of my face. Oh, that looks really warm. Yeah, that does not look like the picture on the tube. I was torn between this shade and I think it was Warm Beige. Warm Beige might have been better. It also looked a little olivier, but this doesn't look olive at all, but we're going to make it work today. So it does say it's a medium coverage. I have only put one, I've only dipped in once, and you guys know I like a light foundation. I don't like something too heavy. So I'm just pressing this in. It does have a really nice finish to it, and it also has a pretty strong smell. So if you don't, I'm just going to take a little bit down here. If you don't like the peach smell or the sweet fig cream, this might not be a good foundation for you because it is extremely scented. It smells good, but for people who don't like a lot of scents, it's extremely scented. So I'm just going to take the last of that pump, a little bit here. This side of my forehead is so shiny right now. I definitely like the way it looks with a sponge. So we'll see how it looks with a brush. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It does look pretty luminous. You can still see my breakouts and some redness coming through. So I'm going to see if I can cover that up a little bit more, but I'm going to do the other side first. I'm going to do one more pump. And now I'm going to be using my Holy Grail, the Morphe Y7 brush. And I'm going to work it onto the skin. Ooh, it's nice with a brush. Alright, I think I like the brush better. I think you get more of a fuller coverage with the brush. And right now I need a little bit more fuller coverage with all of these breakouts that are happening here. So it is, like I said, pretty neutral colored. It's not really that olive. It's definitely warm. Okay, so I have to say I definitely like the way it applies with the brush better than with the sponge. I think the sponge may or may not soak up a little bit too much product. So I'm going to apply a little bit more in this problem area that I have with the brush. Like I said, this is a very warm foundation. So this is something I need to take down my neck. So if I was going out and I was wearing a top like this, I don't think I'd wear this color foundation. It does seem to be oxidizing a little bit and looks a little bit warmer here than it does here. If you guys can tell, it kind of matches my shoulder, but then it also kind of doesn't. It's hard to explain. So it's drying down pretty quickly, but because I put on a nice dewy primer and stuff, it looks really, really nice on my skin right now. It is buildable, so I was able to cover up the redness around here, which is good. So far, not so bad. Let's see how it wears throughout doing the rest of my makeup and how concealer and stuff sits on it. That will be the true test. Am I the only one that puts things back in the box? Or is that weird? I'm gonna quickly do my brows. I had them done pretty much for the most part, but I'm going to completely fill them in now. Okay, so now I'm going to be mixing two concealers. I'm going to be using the Maybelline Superstay Better Skin Concealer in the shade Ivory, and I'm going to be using my Tarte Shape Tape in this shade Light Sand, and I'm just going to be mixing a tiny amount of each. My Better Skin has a little bit more of a neutral undertone, and this one has more of a yellow based. And I'm just mixing the two together. I'm not going to use any extra concealer to cover up my pimples because honestly, it is what it is. I don't mind having my pimples semi-shown through because what am I going to do? I'm human. We get pimples. So I'm very, very, very lightly, like barely touching my skin, pouncing in this concealer, blending it. I find that the Shape Tape concealer is obviously a very strong, heavy, full coverage concealer. It's not something that I normally use, but I have been actually enjoying it a lot more lately. I don't know why. I think I've been needing that little bit of extra coverage under my eyes. They've been just really, really bad lately, and this helps to brighten them up a little bit more. I'm actually going to apply a teeny tiny amount here. This is just going to help even out this area a little bit more. Lighten it up a little bit. It's looking a little dark there. So this is what the skin looks like so far. I'm going to set everything and then we're going to work on the eyes. Okay, to set my under eye, I've been using the Rimmel Stay Matte Powder in Transparent, and I have been using the crap out of this product for months now. It has quickly come back into my life as my holy grail powder. I really don't like to bake under my eyes anymore. I don't know. I think I've just realized that it just causes a lot of cakiness and quick creasing, so I'm not doing that anymore. I just love the way that this sits on my skin. So I've been using it anywhere I apply concealer, around the nose area and my smile lines. I wonder, is anyone else have like an issue with your smile lines? Like this line always creases and this one just never creases. It just doesn't crease on that side. It's the weirdest thing. I'm also setting the nose lightly. And of course, between the brows and the center of my forehead. So most of that shine that we had applied via primer and stuff is now gone, but my skin still doesn't feel like super matte and super dry. Now to contour, I've been using my Bahama Mama bronzer. It is a very cool toned ashy bronzer and does a really nice job of contouring. But I've also been back to using my first ever palette that I ever bought. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit in the shade Light Medium. And I have been using this shade to contour, and I've been using the banana shade to put under my eyes. So I am going to dip into the banana shade and just use that lightly underneath the eyes, very gently, to just add a little bit more of a brightening effect. I've never tried the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I've been wanting to try that palette for a really long time. I just never got around to it. So maybe one day I'll pick that up. So now I'm going to take a really tiny contour brush. This is a BH Cosmetics 22 brush. It is really small and packed. It's perfect. It fits right in the hollows of my cheeks, and I really like it for a defined contour. So I'm going to be dipping into this shade. I think it's called Fawn. Which one is which? So I don't remember. I want to say it's Fawn, but I could be totally making that up. So right into my hollows, I'm going to be lightly contouring. See how beautiful that is? Stunning. And I forgot how much I loved this powder and this palette until I started using it again. Gorge. Look at that. Snatched already. And then I've also been taking a little bit of this Wet n Wild Color Icon bronzer in Ticket to Brazil. I mentioned this in a drugstore first impressions, like full face. This one has a little bit of shimmer in there, but it's so pretty on the skin, like over top of your contour, like just to add a little bit more bronzer, but it gives you a little bit of sheen. It's so pretty. I love it so much. Look how gorgeous that is. I know it looks a little patchy and weird right here, but that's because I have like a weird system where there's something going on there, so we're just gonna ignore that. But I really like this up high. It's so pretty on the temples. It looks so gorgeous when the sunlight hits it. Just adds like a little bit, see that? Adds like a little bit of extra glow. It's gorgeous. Now we are going to move on to the eyeballs. I want to do like a brown, warm, smoky eye. No surprise there, that's all I ever do, but I really want to just stick to brown shades today. Okay, so I wanted to just stick to one palette because that's just how I roll. I like to only use one palette. I don't like to be hopping around from, you know, palette to palette. So I'm going to be using the Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette only because it is a staple in my collection. I am obsessed with this palette. There isn't a day goes by where I don't pick up at least one shadow from this palette. So I definitely want to use this. It has a lot of really beautiful warm and cool tone browns in it. Has a lot of beautiful different shades. So I'm going to start off with this shade right here. I forgot I found a little card that tells me all the names of the colors. Okay, so the third shade is going to be called Silk Cream. So I'm going to start off with Silk Cream, and I'm going to be working that into my upper crease. Oh, we forgot to prime our lids. Pity. So I'm actually just going to re-prime my lids because I forgot to do that with a little bit of concealer. Now we can start. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with Silk Cream on a fluffy brush and work that into my crease. The crease is so defined on this eye and so not defined on my other eye. Now using the same brush, I'm going to go in with this shade right here, which is called Butter. It is a beautiful warm toned orangey brown. So I'm just using the same brush and I'm applying that in the same place. I'm gonna go in with this shade right here. This shade is called Pukey. It is like literally a puke brown, but it's so pretty on the eyes. It's just so gorgeous. And once again, using the exact same brush. We're not switching brushes yet. I'm just working that into the outer V and dragging it inward, mainly focusing it on the outer V and blending it, but dragging it inward as well every so often. I love this palette because these shadows blend like a friggin' dream. Okay, so now we're gonna switch brushes. I'm gonna be taking this ColourPop brush. I don't know what this is, but it's a ColourPop brush. And I'm going to be dipping in to this warm fudgy brown right here. And that is called Buns. Buns? Buns. 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 Sounds like chungs. Chungs? If you know what movie that's from, comment down below because I might be the only one. Okay, so I'm focusing this on the outer crease and focusing it on the outer V just to intensify this area here. See how pretty. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a smaller brush. I'm going to take this brush, this is the Morphe M433. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a nice warm chocolatey brown. Let's see. I think I'm going to take this one right over here, this nice fudgy brown, and that is called Mocha. And I'm going to apply that all over my lid. I'm going to go pretty slowly, but so super fudgy and beautiful. Looks especially for fall. So it's gonna look something like this, super chocolatey and deliciousness. And I'm gonna go back into the first shade we used, which is Silk Cream, and just kind of add a little bit more definition and blend out the edges. I think Silk Cream is one of those just every look transition shades. Like you can literally use this for every look. Back in with a little bit more of the Mocha. So pretty. Okay, so sometimes it does get hard to get on that lower lash line, so I'm going to take a flat definer brush, same shade Mocha, and try to get as close to the lash line as possible, just to make sure everything is covered with that Mocha shade. Okay. It's gonna look something like this so far. And then I'm gonna take the same flat definer brush. I don't know why I just put it down because I need it again. Where did I put it? Okay. And I'm going to be taking the shade Butter, which is that really warm shade we use as the second shade. Taking a mixture of butter and pukey, which is that literal puke color. And I'm gonna be putting those on my waterline. Nice and tight to the waterline. And now I'm gonna take a pencil brush. This is the Morphe E36, teeny tiny brush. And I'm taking Mocha, that chocolatey brown shade we put on the lid, and smudging this on the lower lash line, connecting it to the outer corner like that. Okay, so it's gonna look something like that. And now I'm gonna finish off the rest of the face before I do my lashes and all that. Okay, so I'm gonna do the blush that I've been holding up pretty much this entire time advertising it. This is the Dose of Colors Blush Like You Mint It Mint For You collection in the shade Amazement. It's a really pretty corally blush. I'm going to be using this today because I really do love this blush. It does have some kickback to it, but it's such a stunning peach blush. It's going to go beautiful with this fall look. So I'm just lightly pressing that on my cheeks. So as I'm doing my makeup, I realized that this foundation actually does match me pretty well. It does seem to even out, so it didn't oxidize as much as I thought it would, thank the heavens. But I am going to lighten this area up a little bit more, so I'm going to be doing my RCMA No Color Powder dipped into my Beauty Blender sponge and just carving that out. And we're going to do a little bit of baking in that area. So I'm just carving that out just like that. Only putting it there, nowhere else. It's the only place I like to bake anymore, just to kind of cut that contour a little bit more. So I'm going to do mascara and falsies, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I popped on some lashes. I just used some of my favorites, the Ardell Demi Wispies. They're just such a beautiful, but like lightweight, yet somehow give me a little bit of drama lash. Love them. I also applied the Dose of Colors Desi X Katie lipstick. I'm obsessed with this lipstick. This is in the shade No Shade. Perfect nude for me. I also dusted away that cleanup, so as you can see, it has given us a really nice defined line. The last thing I want to do is highlight and then set the face. For highlighter, I'm going to be using Fuego, also by Desi and Katie and the Dose of Colors collection. I'm obsessed with this highlight, so I'm just gonna use a fan brush and just apply that. I actually like the way fan brushes apply highlight, because I think it dispenses it in such a unique way that you kind of get color all over, but also pinpoints your cheekbone, if that makes any sense whatsoever. I love a fan brush, but I also like a nice, precise highlighting brush. So I'm just loading it up, doing the tip of the nose. I love to do my nosy and Cupid's bow. I'm using a new setting spray today. This is the Morphe Continuous Spray. This baby has been out of stock for months and months and months, and it's finally in stock, so I picked up a couple. So we're gonna try this out together. I'm super nervous, it's super excited. It does have a continuous mist, as you can see, like that literally just came out everywhere. And it feels so fine and smells so good. So I'm so excited to try this. Okay, I know it seems like I just sprayed an obscene amount of this spray, but honestly, like, this spray is so fine. It feels like nothing. Like, it doesn't even feel like it's coming out, even though I know it is, because my skin is dewy, but it doesn't even feel like it was coming out, which is extremely weird, but also very intriguing at the same time. So I'm just gonna dry. Hello. Highlight. I'm like a highlight junkie. Ooh, 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 ooh. So this is the completed makeup look. I think I really like this foundation. It looks really pretty on my skin right now. I don't know if it's because I put like a moisturizer and like hydrating primer underneath. I don't know if that's the reason why, but it's super, super pretty. I like the way that the rest of my makeup sits on top of the skin. As far as the setting spray goes, I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. Let's see how it wears throughout the day. It did dry really, really quickly and gave my skin a little bit of a tacky texture, but I think that it's gonna go away. So I hope you guys enjoyed this makeup look and mini tutorial for fall. If you did, please leave this video a big thumbs up in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and follow me on other forms of social media that I will leave down below in my description box. And I will also leave all of the products that I use in my description box as well. And I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!